high protein, high fat, no carb, living off coffee, off some kind of diet pills and all this, or you're living off, I don't know, Adderall, you're jacked up on caffeine pills, all this stuff, and you're not eating because you feel like that's what you have to do. And you don't have to do that. You have to eat real food for real results, whole plant foods. How many nutrients can you eat per calorie on every forkful of food equals health? Because we only need so many calories a day. And so how are we going to make those count is they're going to be powered by a nutritional punch. Every single calorie matters, right? Because we want to get all our nutrients, not just the macros, but the micros, What about the micronutrients? Was Lori telling us how much weight she's lost? Lori, my hubby had high cholesterol, so I wanted to save him too. And a lot of times just by, especially, if you're the cook and whatnot in the house, you're just changing everything, and maybe you changed over, he wouldn't even know, like to earth balanced butter from regular, margarine, which is terrible, a trans fat, You changed him over just slow things, and that's great. That's showing love. You had terrible digestion, IBS, hemorrhoids, so my goal was not to get cancer and get rid of all my sickness. See? That's a goal. Jane, you're going to teach yoga today? You got to be tweaking all the time. That's exactly right, Lori. I would encourage y'all to go check out her Instagram page. What's the new name of the 23 pounds so far? Made eggplant crackers last night. Y'all, I was just talking about that in my group. Did I just tell y'all that? Those are delicious. I mean, you don't think like you don't have to think I can never have chips anymore. I can never have anything sweet. You just decide what is the healthy option, the whole plant-based version, lots of raw. I don't know if I'm speaking to a crowd of people that is all raw or not. Maybe that's your goal, maybe it's not, but whole plant foods for the win. An adequate amount of fat, which is not that much. So let's review again, shall we? Clear goals. Like, what is your goal? Not just, a vague goal. Like, I want to be happy. What does that mean? Or I want to... When I used to work the car line at the school, I would hear these moms say, you be good today. You don't be bad. Don't be bad today. And I'm thinking, don't be bad. What does that mean? Like, can we get some specific? Because I saw your kid stabbing somebody in the back of the head yesterday with a pencil. I mean, I'm not saying it's the worst thing, but it wasn't good. Can we say, little Johnny, the pencil's for writing on the paper, okay? And you're not to touch anybody with that today. Do you understand? Like, I know you can do it. You say, let's be specific, shall we? Because what does don't be bad mean? You're going plant-based and raw, but I'm in the wire business. How do I deal with the impact, the wine business of wine on the stomach and body? Well, do you have to drink it? We choose what we put in our bodies, and if you're, what are you having to go to, like, tastings, or are you, like, going to, I don't know what you're doing, but you can minimize that, How much fat should we be getting every day? Well, you're talking to somebody that has, like, I live on a low-fat, raw vegan diet, and I have for 10 and a half years. So I really feel like around 9 to 11% is usually what it is. Works best for me. Now, some people can function fine on a little bit higher fat, but I used to live on a much higher fat raw diet, and I wasn't really thriving back then. I wasn't developing more dis-ease, but I was still as mucusy. I still was just as toxic because, if you're eating a couple pounds of nuts a day, that's mucus forming. That's acidifying for the body, and I don't believe that's where the healing is. So it kind of depends on where you are, and a lot of times if you're trying to go to a raw diet, it's just a slippery thing that happens to people sometimes when they go raw, and they kind of have this mentality, or raw is law and anything goes as long as it's raw. Well, that's kind of tricky. It's kind of skewed thinking, really, because if you're living off dates and macadamia nuts and cashew cream and all this all day, okay, where's your micronutrients? That's a lot of fat, and that can happen in a lot of these raw recipes. None of mine, they're all low fat. All of my recipes, even ones with flax seeds, or my dressings, I've got a lot of dressings with no fat, but a lot of them have fat, though it is low because it's stretched out. You're talking about a half of a blender minimum of dressing that's probably got 170 to maybe 200 calories of fat in there. Well, look at the average commercial salad dressing. That's probably about 2 tablespoons versus a half of a blender full. And you won't know, like, as you may at first miss the chemical feel, because that is a low grade addiction we have to chemicals in food, and you may miss that at first, but as your tongue and body recalibrates to its natural state, and you can taste the natural flavors in food, you're not going to miss it. And all my dressings the majority of them have a fat, a salty, a sweet, and an acidic component. Therefore, you're hitting all the excitement receptors on your little tongue, you see? What are y'all saying? I don't use nutritional yeast anymore, and I don't use things like Bragg's liquid aminos and like Nama Shomu and all those kind of. I don't function well eating those. I used to try to eat that years ago, and occasionally I would eat nutritional yeast, but I find that I have like an autoimmune reaction to it. My skin will have this stinging sensation, and it's very painful, and I just feel like it's an excitotoxin for the body, and the more you eat it, the more you want it. You'll really notice that with nutritional yeast, because you can start out with a little bit. Next thing you know, you've got 3 cups of nutritional yeast in something. Give you savory recipes. I've got a lot of savory recipes. I've got like zoodles and sauce, cucumber noodles and sauce. I've got a lot of dressing recipes. I've got a lot of red pepper dressing recipes. I did one the other day that I think was flax and I just showed it to somebody, flax and red pepper, but it was good. But I've got like best raw vegan spaghetti sauce ever. That's a delicious savory recipe, and you can add some water to it and you can make it into a dressing if you wanted. You get that, who is that, plant-based babe? You get that with nutritional yeast too. Yep. Which vegetables do I recommend for fat burning? Well, the thing about veggies, and a lot of people are leaving the veggies on the table, or at the store rather. Thing is, a lot of veggies, let's just say celery for example, takes your body more calories to digest and assimilate it than are actually in it, and it is like a superfood. So really you're talking about a freebie right there. How about zucchinis, cucumbers, bell peppers, all those kind of things. Greens, baby. Bulking up everything you eat with greens is a great way to gain health and lose weight. Celery, yep. Nutritional yeast has calories as well. I think 60 per tablespoon. Did you hear that? I've never checked the calories on that. That's very interesting, because I just don't eat it anymore. Any any ideas for lunches, packing, traveling well to office? Or is that more about what you store them in? Well, you know, when I used to teach, I would be gone all day, and I would take a snack with me and 2 smoothies. And the thing about the smoothies is, if you really balance those well, they're a complete meal. And I've got a video called Green Smoothies for Weight Loss, and it's not just for weight loss, but I'm talking about in that video how to make a well-balanced green smoothie that's going to be a sustainable meal. But if you do that, you either want to use glass jars or BPA free, especially when you're talking about liquefying greens like that, or blending them, because it can leak estrogens out of the plastic into your food, and we don't want that, and that can create an endocrine mess in your body and wreak havoc on your thyroid and all this. So we don't want that. I've really strived to get away from that BPA. I mean, it's, even the other day I had used an ice tray, and I thought, I hadn't used it in a while. I thought, yeah, that's got to go. And I got these new ones that are these Flexies, and they're BPA free, and they're quite fantastic. Over on my Instagram, I showed them maybe last week, which will be, I do about 6 posts a day, so however much that is, about 40 posts back. So they'll be on there, and I'm showing you how to do it too, how to freeze greens, and then they're handy, you know, if they're going bad and that kind of thing. But anyway, back to the packing. You can fill your jars, like leave little room for air in there. That is the key to that, okay? Then you slide them in your lunch box, and you put one of those cold bricks in there. Then when you get to work, you slide it in the fridgie. And if you don't have room in there because the workroom fridge was full or whatever, mine used to be like that too. And see, by the time I was the last one in the building because I was on car duty, so when I came in, if I hadn't had time to go put it in the fridge first, I was out of luck. Well, that would last. Those smoothies would still be chilled at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would just take me some, you know, fruit and celery or fruit and greens to snack on in the afternoon. You know, it's really about simplicity. You know, people feel like this lifestyle is so hard, but it's really the most streamlined, simplistic thing ever. Can I recommend a dehydrator? How many racks to start out with? I had a 4 tray for a long time, about longer than 10 years, probably 12 or 13 years, Excalibur, and my ex-husband had got it for me for my birthday one year, and when I sold it, because I got the bigger one, which I wouldn't have even done, but I got it for a present too. That really manifested and worked out for me, didn't it? But anyway, so now I have a 9 tray, but the 4 tray was plenty, really. I mean, it depends, is it just for you? Because 4 trays is a good bit, you know? Hey, Jay, how are you, sir? Jay, I was on here yesterday, and I'm going to load it up from the clip here over on YouTube as soon as my dang Wi-Fi comes back. As soon as my son, my TannyRaw tech man, gets back in town today. He needs to fix that because my internet's been down for 2 days. But anyway, Jay, I was talking about your video where you're just talking about men being in their alpha male essence, you know, getting back to just, you know, having drive and ambition and like what they are. And I was talking about how, what I was saying on your comments, you know, how a lot of times men don't even know where they fit in these women's lives now, because women have had to start being in their masculine and feminine essence just because, guess what? The man ain't showing up. Not that you need him to, but it's just tricky now, you know what I mean? But I feel like when we can come back to our natural state, you know, and somebody's going to knock that right there, but say you're a person, because somebody's going to knock that about gender roles, but whatever your personal natural essence is, you know what I'm saying? And that covers all the bases on that, because I'm not hating on anybody, but I'm saying for me, I like to be in my natural feminine energy, and everybody has both sides of that, feminine and masculine. But you know, coming back into that and making room for the opposing energy to come in, and it's beautiful, you know. But you know, and getting up every day and being excited about your life, because you're a content creator and you're excited about what you're going to do in your life every day, and you're excited because you've remembered who you are before this world told you what the heck to be, you know. So I had a whole chat about that yesterday. the men were angry with you. I didn't see that. And the women were, yeah, women were agreeing, because it's like, you know, I was just talking to Carly about